Okay, when it comes to South Asian studies, I think a huge motivating factor for me was how dynamic the modules are. I'm a person who's very creative, but I also want to study things beyond art per se. I don't just want to study literature, music, film. I also do want to study global politics. I do want to study economics. And I felt that South Asian Studies department actually offered modules in all of these areas of life that I was extremely interested in. So that was a huge motivating factor. And beyond that, I think that when I took the introductory module, it sort of gave me a sense as to what South Asian Studies was about. And being South Asian myself, and growing up South Asian in a diasporic setting like Singapore, I certainly felt that I was learning a lot about myself as well in these modules. So that was another a journey of self-discovery of sorts as well. And I would say, lastly, and one of the most important reasons is just simply how established the faculty is. So while it's so dynamic and there's so many different modules that are offered, I particularly have to commend the South Asian Studies department because every single module is taught by an extremely esteemed and established professor in that particular field. So those would perhaps be my main reasons and motivating factors for wanting to join the South Asian Studies department or pursue South Asian Studies as my major. So yeah. As a person, I've always been very, very intrigued and fascinated by religion and culture. And I think the South Asian Studies department has done a fantastic job in producing modules that talk about how religion evolves over time. What are the different socio-economic, socio-political aspects that play in religion as well? So that was something that I'm particularly interested in. That was actually a huge point of fascination for me within my course as a South Asian Studies major. And I would also say that as much as I love to read and understand academic readings, I really like to go into the field and conduct actual interviews and meet different people. And a lot of the assignments are actually constructed to be like that in the South Asian Studies department. So there are many times in which I've gone and I've interviewed business owners or individuals from certain cultural institutions. So all of that really is what interests me and fascinates me about South Asian Studies. I think there are a lot of programs that are actually created for the purpose of assimilating us into the rigor of university life. Initially, it was a bit difficult because, as a Singaporean who is transitioning from national service into NUS, it's a completely different lifestyle. But I would say that O-Week really helped. So O-Week is our orientation week, and the seniors there really gave us an idea of how to excel in the modules and also what are the different administrative procedures that you have to do as well. So that really helped a huge part. And I would also say that the professors themselves in the South Asian Studies department, they don't only care about, your grades or your essays or your academic performance. They also want to develop you as a holistic individual, inclusive of things like mental health and physical health as well. So, they will take time to give you tips, to give you advice on how to further develop yourself as a person, as a student. And that certainly has been a huge part in helping me excel in university as well. Given that my point of fascination has always been culture and heritage and religion, I do want to do something in Singapore that helps preserve these really important aspects of our society. So I'm looking at certain jobs with the National Heritage Board, at museums, and I think I have been given the opportunity and the knowledge to sort of understand what are the historical underpinnings of these aspects in our society as well. I'm also looking at academia. So for that, I would have to do masters, and I think that, as I said earlier, South Asian Studies is so dynamic. You really learn about every aspect of life. So I would say that I do have the academic expertise required for these fields. Well, I would say that the focus on interdisciplinary education is a huge advantage to NUS students because when, as someone who has also done internships over my course of time as an undergraduate, I would say that employers no longer look for one area of expertise or one particular skill set. They expect you to be holistically developed. They expect you to have knowledge about different academic areas. And, as not just a South Asian Studies major, but also a sociology minor, I have the ability to explore, I have the ability to do modules that are rather unconventional and they definitely imbibe the required skill sets and knowledge that is necessary for the workforce or for the different careers out there. And in particular, if I were to give an example, so even in South Asian studies itself, right, we don't only focus on things like culture or literature or art, there's also a lot of emphasis on global politics and foreign affairs. So I actually did a few modules about the international relations of South Asia, and this definitely opens doors to areas like Ministry of Foreign Affairs and various other career paths as well. So yeah, basically to be a global citizen. Yeah. Well, I would say it is just simply how dynamic our student life is here. So there are so many things that I've done beyond just studying and beyond just assignments. So I was part of the South Asian Studies Society, and over time, I think the professors really want to nurture us as academics, as individuals who think critically. And my own professors have approached me with opportunities to be part of academic publications and so on and so forth. But beyond the realm of academia and studying, I would say that there's just a lot of fun things to do in NUS. There's so many co-curricular activities like sports, and yeah, there's a huge element of fun really in being an NUS student. And I think that there's also there are concerted efforts, made to sort of develop a common culture among students, and in that process I found a lot of friends here who are like-minded, who are common, who are friends beyond school, you know what I mean? We invite each other for festivals, we have become the closest of buddies, and yeah, that's an interesting aspect of my time here in NUS, I would say.